Hi, I'm Christiane, and this is Connected in the Den, a chill-out zone for conscious expansion, a place to connect, learn, and expand, and help each other live a more inspired life. Welcome, soul family. I hope you feel connected in the den. Vocalist, songwriter, visual and theater artist, aka badass freaking powerhouse. I'm talking about my friend, Carleigh Aikins. We grew up together. I grew up with this beauty in our hometown of Barrie, Ontario. We studied musical theater together, and I've literally admired her since I very first met her. And I've just been following her creative journey since we've known each other. And for the last 10 years, her incredible gifts have led her around the world, touring and collaborating with some amazing artists and bands, including Bahamas, PaperBird, Dwayne Gretzky, Jack Johnson, Macy Gray, like so many incredible collaborations. Her powerhouse vocals have also been heard on shows like Grey's Anatomy and The Ranch, even Hockey Night in Canada. And now, after years of hard work and sacrifice, she's just released her amazing debut solo album, Junk Jewelry. It is such a banger. Like, I've had it on repeat. It's truly an empowering album that really showcases her insane vocals and like impressive vocal range, plus her beautiful songwriting abilities. Like, the songs are so beautiful. It's like a mashup of rock, soul, and pop, and it'll definitely have you swaying around the house, belting the songs at the top of your freaking lungs. Like, it's so good. We had such a great chat discussing how to stay inspired and motivated as a creative entrepreneur, you know, knowing our worth and standing in our power as artists and business women and men, some of the challenges that women face in the industry, and her beautiful paintings, the journey on creating and releasing Junk Jewelry. It was just such a great chat. So let's get into it. I'm so excited to share this beautiful chat with Canadian songbird, Carleigh Aikins. Okay, so look, we cannot be classy all of the time. It's exhausting. In this episode of Connected in the Den, we do have some adult language. So if you have little ones around, you might want to grab your headphones. How are you?
I'm good. It's so good to see you.
It is.
How is it on the beach over there? It's actually a gorgeous day here, which is why I'm like wearing a tank top. So I'm like, I'm going to channel the islands.
I'm sending it your way.
Which is like weird because it's December and
I know
global warming is real and it's
right.
weird.
But when there's like a nice sunny day, it's like something to celebrate over there.
Thank you, but what does this mean for the environment?
Oh my gosh. So how are you doing? I've been like literally have your album on replay and like sending it to everybody. It's amazing. Like, Carleigh, I want to cry. It's so good. Like, it's so good. I'm going to cry.
Oh, no, don't. I know you know a lot about like moons and the stars and I don't know what's going on in the air right now, but like, I was at a Christmas show last night, was just like crying the whole time. I just feel like so emotionally charged. But
Same.
I think it has to do with like, you know, finally putting this piece of work out that's taken so long and like it's been dragged out for so long because of the pandemic and just like releasing it. I think I'm just feeling a lot of that kind of
the feel. Yeah. And I think too, like everybody else that's known, because I've known that this has been like a project in the freaking works. So I think it's also probably a lot of that collective energy because we all are like celebrating this, you know, along with you. And
Let's give it that way then. Thank you for that.
That's honestly how I feel, because I feel like when I listen to it, I feel like I'm feeling a lot more energy. Like and I know you, so I know that you would only be working with like the most highest vibing, talented musicians. And it's like, you can really feel that in the album. So yeah, it's really something to celebrate. So I can imagine how you're feeling with, launching it and everything. But let's like take a few steps back, because we're talking because like we know each other, because we've known each other for years.
Yeah.
But for the listeners that don't know who you are, I've just shared a lengthy intro into this episode, but like, who is Carleigh Aikins today in this moment?
Whoa. Well, I'm an artist. I'm a multidisciplinary artist. And for the last decade or so, or more than that, 2 decades, I've been kind of hyper-focused on my work as a vocalist.
Mm-hmm.
I've been on the road for the last decade, and, with the pandemic hitting and kind of stripping all that away, it's a good question to ask, like, who are you when all of that is stripped from you? And I think my fellow colleagues and myself included are kind of going through that like existential question of like, who am I if not, a performer and someone who's public facing most of the time. And yeah, when all of that's taken away, you really have to like turn within and figure out, who am I just as a person?
Right.
So,
yeah,
it's an interesting question, because I've been kind of examining that. And one of the blessings of the pandemic has been returning to my practice as a painter, which has been a really beautiful gift, because I haven't had the time to, painting is something that requires like dedication and practice and being in one place at one time, which I have not been for the last 10 years. So, excuse me. So I'm an artist, but lately I've been returning to my painting practice and selling stuff to collectors, but also working on releasing this record, which has been interesting because I haven't been able to like perform it live or anything. So it's just kind of been like this digital existence, which is like, I'm a grandma and I'm like, I'd rather just be in person sharing this and like having to be like, like you're, you have an Instagram presence, and it's strange, like sharing with the world in that way, because it's not very personal.
Mm-hmm.
And then you want to kind of not, you gauge it on like the response or how many freaking likes you get or whatever. And it's like, I need to not
I know
think of it in those terms, because it's really like humiliating in a lot of ways, or like it's weird. So it's been a real adjustment the last couple of years, just kind of reorganizing how I share my work and how to go about doing that, how to reach people. And it's been an interesting kind of new journey the last little bit, which I'm sure it's been for you too. Like
totally
kind of stripped from you as well.
And that's what I think I've been finding is it's like you said, it's been a lot of like inner reflecting. And I think it's also really forcing us to see how much we identify as with labels, and, kind of putting ourselves in a particular category and identifying and showing up as that particular thing. And it's like, well, when everything is the carpet's pulled from beneath you, and like you have to rediscover who you are, and I find it's more of a soul connection, and then that completely transforms all areas, the way that you express yourself in any way. But I find that for the most part, everyone that I've interviewed has kind of been sharing similar things. And it's like, we're all basically coming back to this place of learning and like becoming a student and starting kind of, I don't want to say starting over, but starting like a new chapter of discovering who we are, right? So I think it's beautiful timing for the album. I'm sure it was really frustrating, you know, putting everything together. And I can't even imagine. I wasn't aware that you weren't able to perform really, like still not even right now with the restrictions.
No, we're getting back to, being able to do that. I mean, there's kind of talk that it's going to go back into lockdown over here because the numbers are just going up. But, so yeah, I'm hoping that, you know, things will hold out long enough that I can get the show on its feet. But, even switching gears into, you know, like finally everything's out so I can kind of switch now my focus back to like making a show out of this and whatever. But that's kind of just been a delayed process. I mean, right before the lockdown, I was supposed to do a few consecutive nights performing the album for the first time, and then everything shut down. And to think that was like literally 2 years ago.
Right. I know.
And it hasn't happened. So I am looking forward to switching gears, but it's intense. Like it's hard to thrust yourself back into that mode. With a lot of, you know, anxiety that I didn't expect. I thought I would be really excited to do it, and I am, but it's also kind of just this new territory that, you know, I feel really like fragile kind of entering into.
Yeah, totally.
But,
totally.
Yeah, we've been slowly like starting to perform. I perform with a band called Dwayne Gretzky that performs, you know, other people's work. So it's been an amazing, actually, something to be a part of, because it just keeps me in practice with like my craft, just performing. Yeah, it's easier when you're performing someone else's work, and you can just kind of like, you know, it's not as vulnerable or whatever. So
totally,
I love working with them because it's just kept me in check with like the performing aspect of things. So I've started to perform with them publicly, which has been like a trip, but it's nice to get back to doing that and to like ease into it that way, you know, performing other people's songs kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. So let's kind of talk a little bit about that, because you've been doing the most with performing and touring and collaborating and like huge names and major places. And like, how has that process, how do you feel that has helped you as an artist, as an individual artist? Do you feel like it's more helped you or hindered you with releasing your own creations, your own art?
Oh, it's of course helped me immeasurably. I mean, it's easy to kind of, when you're like a hired gun, it's easy to get into this cycle of taking work. You know, we can exist in this state of like this scarcity mentality where you kind of just feel like you have to say yes to everything. And so as a result, I haven't really allowed the time to sit and, you know, develop my own personal work, because I've just been supporting other artists, which I love doing. And I've learned so much from being able to like observe how other people run their show, you know, and run their team, and so I've learned from observation. And that's, you know, sometimes you can get into the mindset of like, why didn't I do this earlier? I waited too long to do this. But as I'm sure you know and believe, everything has its process, and you have to trust that this is the time that it was supposed to happen. If I were trying to do it when I was a younger woman, I wouldn't have been prepared. 100%. And so just to be, you know, gentle with myself and live in the knowing that this is the time it was supposed to unfold. Excuse me. And so I've just been able to take what I've learned from observing how other people have, you know, how their careers have unfolded, and been able to kind of have the best seat in the house watching that go down. And I can take all that knowledge and those observations with me, applying now to running my own camp over here.
So like, when did you really officially start to write junk jewelry? Like,
well, the reason it's called junk jewelry is because it is like a kind of like treasure chest of all these little pieces of the last 10 years that I've kind of
that
together.
I love that.
I think you can hear in the album that there's a lot of kind of different flavors. I think it's been a bit confusing because there's not a like for my team or whatever, or for, you know, a label or whatever to identify like, what is this sound? It's very like,
but that's why I love it so much. Like I really feel like this is why I love it so much, because on so many other albums, like I kind of get bored because it all kind of sounds kind of similar, you know, but there's just so many layers to this album and like so many different feels and
I love so good. That. That's awesome.
Yeah.
It's yeah, excuse me. It's just pieces of demos and stuff that I was kind of writing on the road. I was in a band for a few years in Colorado called PaperBird, and that consisted of 6 songwriters. And so we were always kind of pooling songs, you know, into the pot to see what would stick and what we could interpret as a band.
Yeah.
So some were left over from that process. You know, some I wrote with some friends while on my travels and whatever. So yeah, it's been and I wasn't writing them necessarily like, this is all going to go on an album as one piece, you know?
Yeah.
3 years ago, I just kind of, you know, haphazardly almost decided to apply for a Canada Council grant. In Canada, we have an amazing grant system for artists. It's amazing. There's, you know, like anything, it's problematic as well. It's been a system that's kind of fed into like white cis male work. A lot of that is changing at a pretty rapid pace, which is amazing. And I've been you know, beneficiary of that privilege because I've worked mainly with white men who benefit from this system as well.
Yeah.
It's like, it's a conflicting thing, and it's been something that I've been like checking within myself, especially these last couple of years as we're all kind of stepping up into this new level of like awareness of our privilege. Yes. So I'm very grateful for that grant, and it gave me the impetus to like, I didn't expect to receive it. I just kind of applied for it and was like, I'll never hear from them again, because that's a lot when you apply for grants. But so if that hadn't have happened, you know, where I was given some resources and able to finally focus to get it done. And trust me, I've postponed the grant deadline many times, which like happens, you know, you're like, you never get it done at the first deadline. But if it hadn't been for that, I don't think I would have been able, or I wouldn't have had, the resources and the ability to take a pause and really focus on the record. So I'm really grateful that I had that opportunity.
So when you're because you mentioned something about like, I wasn't writing this to like put it on this album. When you are writing, what exactly would you say is the intention then? Is it always to kind of put it somewhere, or is it more just to kind of get it out?
Yeah, I guess it is like it's a process of catharsis. I'm mainly a vocalist. I'm not necessarily a multi-instrumentalist or anything. So, I can, again, like cobble together little demos with my computer and with synthesizers and whatever. And that's been a process of learning, which has been amazing to kind of just even look at the progression of my demos and how I've kind of learned to be a producer. So a lot of that was just, kind of experimenting and learning how to use recording devices and synthesizers and stuff like that. It was more just to like as a practice for myself. And also I think I never really had the confidence to really think like this could be made into an actual song. I just used my voice. I would layer my voice to create chord structures, and the very like kind of not a rudimentary but non-conventional way of creating songs. So it was hard to even envision where they would go from there.
Right.
But I've been lucky enough in my career where like, little songs that I've plunked out on my piano, I've had orchestras play them with me, which is like just a mind-blowing thing to see the progression of a song in that way when you're someone who like can't even play the piano.
Yeah. No, I totally identify with that because I'm the same. Like I like to sing, but I can't play anything. And that's one of the reasons why I've admired you so much, continue to admire you, but because you put things to like, I literally am like, okay, so I could do this too, you know, like, because it's really discouraging, you know, as an artist. And I know there's going to be many artists listening to this that are kind of in the same boat where our voice is our instrument. So to really put everything together, and I can imagine where that, like, you know, imposter syndrome kind of steps in and is like, I can't fucking do this, you know, like, so I think, again, this is another reason why I love it, because I know your musical background, you know, and to see this whole masterpiece come together without playing anything, you know, like that's incredible. So that's like super inspirational.
It's intimidating to be around a lot of really, you know, all my friends are incredibly proficient musicians, which is like an embarrassment of riches for me because I can pull, you know, from that pool and have them play with me. But yeah, it is intimidating to kind of step into the ring with just your voice, which is a very huge asset to have that gift and that tool. But yeah, it's hard to, and I would suggest to anyone listening, like it can never hurt, obviously, to just take the time to learn an instrument to accompany yourself. And that's another thing that I'm learning. I wish I had that tool in my toolkit. I'm not trying to be self-deprecating or anything, but yeah, sometimes when it's like, can you perform your songs? And I'm like, without somebody else, you know?
Yeah.
Like, will you play my thing online? I'm like, no, I can't do it, you know, like, because I can't bring a piano player into my house. So there's been a lot of those moments, and it's easy to then, you know, revert into exactly what you said, the imposter syndrome, like, oh, I'm not a real artist if I can't play my own songs. But then I know that there's a lot of people who can't sing like you or I, or, you know what I mean? Like, you have to always keep yourself in check and be grateful for what you do bring to the table. And never, I mean, self-talk is a huge, I think any artist struggles with that imposter syndrome.
Completely. So how do you, what helped you find your strength? What helped you, like, what was really motivating you, or who, you know, like externally and internally, what was really?
Well, I really struggled with, you know, I'm a very self-deprecating person. And I think that comes from just being like a big fish in a little pond growing up in our city and stuff. Constantly, you're given praise, and somehow, this sounds ridiculous to say, but somehow you start to be like, when you're hearing that a lot, you kind of just somehow start to doubt it. I say it out loud, and I don't really know what the psychology of that is.
No. I totally relate to that. Like, I totally relate to that. Specifically for me with singing. Like, and I know that that's really held me back. Like, I've had small little projects here and there, and everyone's always like, man, you have a powerful voice. And then I'm like, cool, okay, bye. You know, like anytime anyone's like, come and sing, I'm like, no, that's okay. You know, like being put on the spot and stuff. Like, I completely understand that. I don't know where that comes from. And it's for me only with singing. Like, I can find the courage with anything else. Speak in front of people is a different thing, but to sing in front of people is like, I don't know. It's so
such a personal, like it's something that's coming from within you to the outside. You know, if someone's playing a bass, it's like you're making your hands do this thing, but it's not the same as it's not the same to minimize the skill that it takes to play an instrument. But it's such a personal, really vulnerable thing, you know? And yeah, I just, for a long time, have struggled kind of with this. I think it's trying to remain humble. I always tried to remain, like, you know, have humility and keep my ego in check. But then that kind of snowballed into then just like all this self-talk of like, you're not good enough. You're, you know, it's, so it's been a lot of like trying to reprogram that. And I think it also has just come from traumatic relationships that, whittle away at your self-esteem and what.
Yeah.
And I've had my lion's share of those, but
same.
I had a really supportive partner at the time when I was making this record who really helped facilitate a lot of things. I could not have made it without his help. And, you just have to have people in your corner that support you, but you have to just find that self-love and just believe that you're worthy of sharing what you have to share, struggle for any artist. There's so much ego involved, and like we do this because we have a certain level of like, look at me and what I can do and acknowledge me, validate me, and check.
Yes. Yeah.
But it can also go the opposite way where especially when there's so many brilliant artists around you or in the world sharing, it's like you can feel like you're yelling into a vacuum sometimes.
Yeah.
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 It's like, why won't anyone hear me? And you're like, well, shut up. No one cares, bud. Like it's like this back and forth.
Yeah, totally. So I'm assuming then that would probably be one of the more difficult parts of putting the album together was continuing to find the courage to do so, right? But what would you say was the most encouraging and easiest part of putting everything together?
I mean, just singing, when there's so much leading up to like building the track and getting, it's funny, especially when you're when you are a vocalist who's not playing everything, you have to wait your turn. And I've made so many records where it's kind of felt like, then the afterthought is now go do the vocals for a couple hours. Right? They're watching all the dudes do 1,000 overdubs and spend hours and hours on their parts. And then it's like, okay, and you go in the booth in an hour, be done, That was really lovely to just be able to take the pause to like really focus on the vocals and acknowledge that they were the most important part. They were like, all of this was there to support the vocals. And so that felt really good to just be able to sing and put 1,000 harmonies on everything.
It's amazing. Like it sounds
like, this needs more harmonies, but sometimes like let's edit this down. You don't need a 5th harmony on that part. And I'm like, what do you mean? Because I will sing harmony on everything.
But I think that's like, honestly, the first time I put it on, like I was like, because I heard the, the couple songs that you had launched, but like when you sit down and are like, okay, let me listen to this album, right? Like in its entirety, the first couple tracks. And then I was like, holy shit. Like you feel like there's so much with all those beautiful harmonies. Like I lit my candles, I lit a joint. I'm like dancing around the house, right? Like it's so like, it's just so powerful. So I love all those harmonies. Like I think that's amazing.
Love all the lovely things you're saying for my work. It's really helping my self-esteem right now.
Well, I'm sure everybody else that listens is going to be thinking the exact same thing. Like, because I can only imagine how difficult it is to try to promote something like this with the state of the world right now. And I feel like so many people are quick to dismiss creative works right now because there's this fascination and attachment to mainstream media, mainstream news, and, just staying connected into the fear kind of feeding everyone every day. But to like sit down, take a step away from it and like put yourself in a like amazing creative place and just vibe along. Like, so I needed to get you on here and try to help promote this and put it out as however way we can, because it's like, seems like it's ridiculous for music. And it's different over here, like in the Dominican, there's still our concerts and stuff going on and festivals and stuff. So it's hard, connecting with everyone, friends and family back home, because there's like a cloud, like over the country. And it's hard, when I know everybody is trying to do their thing and make things happen. And especially after having the time, like you said, at home to create and put stuff together and then want to share it now, you know, like it's hard not to have all the platforms, I guess, we're used to with promoting and sharing and stuff like that. So I'm really happy that you were able to take the time to sit down with me and kind of talk about, because I guess it's kind of even hard, because one of my questions was going to be like, so what's next with, you know, the album? Where are you going to be performing? But I guess like everything's kind of just up in the air.
It is. And like, you know, touring doesn't really feel viable for me right now, which is, it's funny because I've literally spent the last 10 years touring on the road.
Yeah.
And to even support that on your own is like, I don't think people really understand the kind of resources that are needed to like pull off an actual tour to hit cities, especially in Canada.
Right.
We're a very large country with, you know, cities are, it's so funny coming from the States because it's like, throw a stone and there's an incredible city to drive to in an hour, you know. Back in Canada, like it takes 18 hours to get to Thunder Bay.
On our horse and carriage to get around everywhere.
Thunder Bay, it'll take me 13 hours.
It's so true.
It's not easy, and everyone, you know, wants to break into America, and lately, like the visa process has become even more of a nightmare. It costs so much money to even be able to gain access to America, those markets. So it all feels very daunting, but it's also just like I just have to step back and just take it one little step at a time.
Yeah.
And like you said, I mean, it's also, you constantly have to be adapting in this industry, and especially in the last 2 years where the whole thing has flipped on its head. And yeah, like to me, it's almost like painful having all these like different platforms and having to like come up with this content. It's like, I just want to sing. And I know that when I get in a room with people and they can feel me emoting and connect with me, that's like what the best selling, you can't beat that, you know? So it's frustrating in releasing it this way, just like, here I am in the basement, like, you know, uploading my songs.
That's the thing, because like hearing it, maybe I was like, fuck man, this is going to be so sick live. Like I just was like feeling that. I can picture it, I can see it, you know. It's just we have to be a little patient, but like I totally see that and feel that and understand too as an artist how special it is to connect with people one-on, like in a more intimate setting. And I think that's why for me, I chose to take my content from Instagram to podcasting, because it's like you said, it can feel a little humiliating when you release your stuff and you're like, no one's liking, no one's relating. Okay. Like, you know, like, are people seeing me? Are you feeling me? Like, but then I found that what helped me with my connections with the people that I've, you know, been connecting with over the years is the intimate conversations. So it's like, okay, I'm just going to like start interviewing everyone that's impacted me and just share that, and whoever can relate to that, you know. But it's definitely, finding the community, finding the frequency in the network and stuff, because I'm the same, like all these platforms and creating all these things to help launch and release. It's like, it does make me feel old, you know, like I'm like,
what is motivating your work? You know, it's connection and vibration, and you're doing this because you want to connect. And then it's like, and here I am on the screen, and there's no, and like, oh, I measure my worth by, how many people have clicked like on it to indicate that they've seen it, you know? So it's it's difficult, as artists, because that's all we want to really do, right? Is just connect with people and like vibrationally connect, you know? So finding, reinventing ways of doing that and feeling fulfilled in that way is an interesting, and it's been an interesting journey through this time. But now people are more than ever are thirsty for that connection, you know, because of we've all been through. So You just have to steadfastly like remember that is the most important thing, and that's why you're doing all of this. So
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I actually hid my like count, like for the most part. Some options don't let you do it, but I just hid it. And I'm like, I don't, like I'm in the place now where I am like, I don't really care as long as someone is relating or someone is connecting. And, when you do get that random message or something from someone that's like, I really appreciated this. I'm just like, at least someone felt this and could relate, because that's been a huge part of my healing journey, is finding people who have, helped kind of open me up and crack open my shell and help heal everything. But to actually like come across someone and, like let them know, like, man, you really helped me, so when you feel that back, you're like, okay, cool. Like we're all connecting, we're all healing together, even if it's not, widely, globally, publicly shared and stuff with like counts and views and stuff like that.
As I said, being an artist, there is so much of the ego is entangled in. I think growing up as a kid, part of the motivation was to gain validation and to feel like special and to be seen, And now as an adult woman, you kind of grow out of that, where it's like your ego grows with you and transforms with you, where it's like, I don't need, I'm not searching for like this validation that I needed as a younger person anymore. So what is the deeper meaning and purpose that's brought me to creating, So that's actually been a beautiful thing, to like come into the knowing of like, oh, I'm not actually doing this to seek validation anymore. It's good. That feels thrown into my purpose, but it was motivated at first. It started by that young statistical nature, so it's interesting to like watch yourself grow in that way. And I like being at the place where I'm not seeking.
Yeah, that is so true. I never really reflected on that, because I absolutely was like a showboat in any area I could be with the things that I did growing up, like figure skating and anything musical, anything creative. And I definitely, I think I stepped into that Leo energy maybe too much, like it's like, but it's so true. As you age, everything starts to soften, and you start to just really, I guess, like re-blossom this new kind of flower and stuff like that. I want to reflect a little bit more on that. So thank you for bringing that point up, because that definitely, I think, is also what kind of influences a lot with social media platforms and validation and attention and stuff like that.
Don't get me wrong.
So
it's still in there.
Of course. It's human nature. But
like we're special and we have something unique to offer the world, and that is everyone's purpose, is to contribute the collective in their own special way. But if you're doing it, that's the thing too, like making this record where it's like there's so many things entrenched deeply within me about what you're supposed to be as an artist, as a woman, your body as a commodity, your it has to sound like this. People need to know what to call this, or else nobody can absorb this if they don't know what it sounds like. It's like, and people are digesting media in such a different way now. Like even I'm like, I can't give this shit away for free. Like, will you give me 38 minutes and listen to my record? Like, it's so hard to get people to even sit and do that.
I know. 2
minutes of a single and that's it. So you're like, but I made this whole thing. Nobody cares.
Right?
You just have to like step back and be like, why am I doing this? And for everyone to fucking say that I'm amazing and sit down and listen to it? Or am I doing it for myself to say I finished this project and I shared my story, and there will always be somebody that hears it. There will always be someone that resonates with it. And it doesn't matter if it's 100,000 people or if it's one person. And when people do reach out and say, like, when you get these messages, they're like, this really resonated with me and really like helped me today. Like, cool. Connection is all, like, that's all that I needed to hear. Person saying like, this resonated with me. Yeah.
Totally. Totally. Well, yeah, it definitely, like I keep fucking repeating myself. Like it really like resonates. I feel like it's my powerhouse album for 2022 because it's just like insane. It's insane. So like my question too, like kind of with your creative writing process, are you constantly kind of throwing down lyrics? Like do you have like a little book you keep around with you? Like what is the process for you? Or is it if something like triggers you?
It comes in waves, like same with my painting. Like
Mm-hmm.
I'll be obsessively painting for months and then it's like, "Whoa," and it can dry up and that gets scary when you're like, what happened to my muse? It's like it's gone. But you just have to just like relax and understand that these things come in ebbs and flows, you know, and the muse can strike you at any instant. So I try to like always be engaging, like going to galleries, because as soon as I step in and see other people's paintings, and I have to go home and paint. So the same, I'm lucky that I have so many amazing friends that are constantly releasing like mind-blowing music, and that's a good motivator, you know, to keep inspired and to keep on my game. I also do a lot of like writing sessions, just like I did one yesterday where it's like, okay, they want a song about empowerment. And you just write these like generic lyrics like, I'm strong, I'm proud, I'm standing strong, you know? But it's like, I'm so grateful for it because it's a good practice.
Yeah.
And I can do that really fast, like just write generic lyrics. And I keep up with that by journaling all the time, writing poetry and, you know, reading and whatnot. But, as far as like with music, it takes a lot of intention. Like I will, if I have a melody, I'll record a little voice note and then I can come, but I have to like sit down, really be intentional with it. Because again, I'm not like, I can't run to the piano and be like, oh, I hear this melody and interpret it. Like it really takes a lot of time and intention. So that's creating space for yourself where you can be able to do that. And that's a huge privilege. Like a lot of people work 9 to 5 and you know are in an office all day in a place that doesn't inspire them, and it's really hard to make space and time, or they have children, of course, like I don't have children, or their health isn't, you know, or whatever is going on for people. It's really hard to find that time, and you have to be intentional about it, and it's important for every human soul to take that time. I did this like you ever heard of The Artist's Way?
Actually, Marina lent me the copy of her book. I haven't jumped into it fully, but maybe this is a sign from the gods, this conversation.
It's super dated, and it's also, again, like written for people in Manhattan that are like, my high-powered job is like, whatever. It's like, you have to take it with a grain of salt. But the practice of it, I did the whole, it's basically like a 12-step program for to spark creativity again. And just the practice of like morning pages and just getting up every day and kind of with this intention to create and to just like that's what they teach you in art school. I did 1 year of art school, just paid off the student loan yesterday.
For real?
Yeah, I got an email that was like, your student loan's paid off. I'm like, and it's been exactly 10 years. And I did 1 year.
Well, congratulations on that.
Baby. But in art school, they just teach you, they're like, if you want to be an artist, you have to be constantly in your practice, like creating. And you're going to create a bunch of shit that is not good to get to that good thing. You know, and that's what can be frustrating for people. It's like, and someone like me, where it's like, well, I don't usually try things unless I'm really good at them. You know, I don't want to like, I'm uncomfortable in the failing process, you know? So then I just won't do it. But you have to go through that process of like making the crap that gets the good stuff. So it can be discouraging for people, you know, it's because it's such a process, but it's important to do for anyone in any profession to have a creative outlet of some sort, or else your soul will die.
No, but that is really true. I was talking to my dad about that, like just because he always seems so fascinated with people who are so creative. he is creative. He just doesn't tap into it a lot, right? Because he's also military background, so he's been programmed to be a little structured. And I know that's with many people, you know, like you said, that do the 9 to 5s, where it's like you get kind of in this zone, this, you know, hamster wheel kind of thing, and to like step out and kind of find some creative expression is challenging for people. So, but it's true, when you do though, it really like feeds your fucking soul when you make that time.
And once you start, it just starts, it flows. That's what this artist way is like. It's like opening up that wellspring that's inside of you, and then it's coming out at you. And it's like, take yourself on little dates. That's part of the practice as well. Like, take yourself on a little excursion or something that inspires you, that you step away from your children, whatever you're doing, just for you and your soul, because we all have that inside of us. So whatever that may be for whoever's listening, it's different for everyone. But like I said, for me, it's like, I'll go to a gallery. I'm lucky enough to live in a city where there's a gallery beside my house, you know.
It's amazing.
I'm lucky to be able to like just go and immerse myself. Or I'll go to the AGO. I've seen those paintings a million times, but still when I step in, I'm like, and there's the group of 7, and I'm going to go home and paint. It's just, got to find things that really like help you to tap into that side. You have to be intentional and make the time for it.
Totally. Can we talk a little bit about your paintings and stuff too? Because they're also amazing. Like literal, complete, multi-dimensional artist. You are like so many things, but not even just artist, also intellect. Like, you're extremely intelligent. So I know that a lot of that comes through like with your work and stuff. So what is the process with your paintings and everything? Like, where can everyone find are you set up anywhere right now?
Well, I have a portfolio at my website, which is, my name is spelled strangely. It's Carleighaikins.com. So, I have my paintings there, and, it's interesting, like Instagram, I'm sure for you, is like, when Instagram went down, like recently, like how many of us as entrepreneurs and artisans depend on these platforms to reach people and to sell their goods, you know, I kind of had to check that for a second. It's like, right. I don't feel comfortable relying on this Facebook and Instagram to, I just said Facebook, which dates me as a grandma, but like Facebook owns all these things. Okay.
I still use Facebook. It's mostly to connect with family, but
with painting, like I said, I haven't been able to do it as much as I would have liked to in the last 10 years. And the last 2 years, I've made about 100 different pieces just because I started dove in. It was also a bit of an anxious thing because I was like, what am I going to do?
Right. Yeah.
And it was a beautiful thing to be like, oh, if I put intention and time into this, I will gain return from it. People purchase it. You know, you just have to like trust that and put in the time. It's like with any practice. Yeah. And I've just to see like the improvement of my proficiency in painting by just doing it every day in the last years. It's just been amazing to step back and be like,
holy shit,
I'm pretty good at this in the last 2 years. Which is wonderful to look at, but it took hours and hours of sitting compulsively at an easel. Probably why my relationship didn't work out, whatever, you know, like I kind of dove really deep
right into it. Yeah.
That can be dangerous too. And it's just like, okay, you're being a bit compulsive now. But, so yeah, in the last, couple years, it's been amazing to just be able to focus on that. And it really gives me a different kind of even sensation or reward than singing does. Obviously singing is more of like an immediate, you know, vacation of like, here I am singing, but the process that it takes and the time and commitment and detail that and every stroke that you put into it, it's so rewarding at the end. And I just like, I'm in like my happiest place when I can submerge myself into a painting. And anybody can do that.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And with practice, you can get a lot better at it. So yeah, painting is like a beautiful gift that is something that I mainly like have done for myself, because it's very hard to sell paintings, you know?
Yeah.
It's not a big market, especially like in my community. Art, you know, fine art isn't accessible to us. I can't afford to pay $6,000 for it. So I want to keep my work accessible in that way, but also then as an artist, we all struggle with quantifying our work and like putting a price on it and asking for what we're worth. You know, that's a constant lesson we learn as artists, how to do that, how to stand up for yourself and stand up for what you've made and state that the value that you feel it has. And it's amazing, like, it's a constant practice of like learning how to do that and have the confidence to do that. And sometimes people say, how much is that painting? And you say it and they're like, oh, I can't afford that. I'm like, well, what did you think it was?
Yes.
And then there'll be other people saying, oh my God, I thought it would be 3 times that. This is, you're constantly being sent these messages. Being anyone that can't afford art, I totally understand that. But I don't think people really understand like how much of your heart and soul and time is like poured into the stuff you make.
100%.
And that's fine. That's for you. And there'll always be someone who sees that value as well. Not everyone will see the value in it. You know? And that doesn't works bad. But yeah, I think it's for artists, it's always a challenge to be able to stand up for what you're worth and to state that and to have the courage to say like, this is how much it costs, you know, and instead of like downplaying yourself or underselling yourself.
Yeah, completely. Yes. I have that with my business as well, like as a makeup artist, but even as well with content creating and stuff like that too, because a lot of the times it's like, well, you don't really have a lot of followers. And it's like, okay, well, but you obviously see value if you've contacted me in what I create and how I look and how I can promote your product. So what, you know, it's, yeah, I feel you on that battle as well. Like it's super challenging to really, you know, know your worth and stick to that. But at the same time, still be accessible and stuff like that as well, because not everybody is privileged and you want to be able for everyone to get a piece and have the experience and stuff like that. So I completely understand that.
If you remain steadfast in what you're worth, though, eventually you'll get that, you know. You just have to keep, and you might have to say no a lot of times. And that's the other thing, is this scarcity mentality where it's like, I can't say no. I don't know what's going to come next. I have to trust. And I've said this before, like if you say no and you make space for things, like if you're constantly just underselling yourself and saying like, yes, I'll do that because I don't know when the next job will be offered to me or whatever, you don't leave space for the actual things that you want men to play. So it does take saying no, even though you may not know what's coming next and you may not know where your next paycheck's coming from. And like, I've lived 20 years since I've been a working artist without knowing where your paycheck's coming from and not having that security or that stable foundation of like a paycheck. And I don't think that's something that a lot of people are like, what? How could you even live that way? And I'm like, I don't know, but I'm still here. I got a lot of credit card debt, you know, but like just paid off my student loan. But it's not an easy lifestyle, and it's not, people aren't used to living that way. And it can get really exhausting, especially after this long of being like, it just would be so nice to know what my yearly annual income would be so that I can plan, so that I can get a car, so that I can get a house, you know, all these things that you think you're supposed to have at this age or whatever. But also, do I want to go sit at a desk from 9 to 5? Kudos to everyone who You're amazing.
Totally.
I would not be able to do that, you know? Made a lot of sacrifices, like moving away from your foundation and your family and starting like with incredible entrepreneurial spirit, thrusting yourself into this strange new land and going to start this business. That takes a lot of courage, but it also comes with a lot of uncertainty, you know, and it's a beautiful way to live, but it's not an easy way to live. But I think that's what makes artists like us special, because we have the courage to like go and do those things without knowing what's to come. Part of human nature. It's like, I need to know what the future looks like. Also, that's what anxiety is. It's like projecting what the unknown is, you know?
Yes. Yeah.
So I've struggled a lot with like mental health and with, you know, just feeling really ungrounded a lot of the time. I've lived out of a suitcase for 10 years. You know, I haven't had a place to like lay my hat. Like, it's like those people can look at your life and be like, that looks fun, but it's also like, it comes with a lot of anxiety and a lot of uncertainty. But again, I wouldn't trade this lifestyle. You know, that's why I don't have children yet, or I've chosen to live this way. Yeah. There are days when I'm like, why did I choose this? You know?
Yeah.
Always days where you're just like, okay, I should just get a job at Starbucks. At least I'll know what my paychecks are coming, you know?
Yeah. I had to like completely release that kind of thought. I mean, I struggle with it. Obviously it's still there. I have bills to pay and stuff, but this last year especially was like learning to just surrender and just trust the flow and know that we are all really divinely like supported and guided like constantly. Like we have our spirit teams and our family and our friends, like everyone's strategically placed in our lives to like help our path and our journey, exploring and learning and who we are and stuff. So who would you say are like your biggest influences and like you like up on the wall, you know?
I just have so many incredible friends who are living. It's tricky because it's hard not to compare yourself to other people who have quote unquote success that's greater than yours or whatever. And so I just try to, instead of, you can be scrolling and just be like, why don't I have that success? And instead I just try to keep in check, like, be grateful that these people are there as examples of what you can achieve if you keep, like, think about how hard these people have worked to get here. And it's not, a lot of it is luck, excuse me, and a lot of it is being in the right place at the right time. A very small percentage of it is like your actual talent, because that doesn't guarantee you anything. Like, I have a lot of amazing friends that inspire me and that are incredible artists, and that are like, when I look around, it's like, oh, my friends that like hang out with Joni Mitchell and sing with this, where it's like the people that we hold as these idols are like kind of entering into your world. Yeah. It's like we are all like, you can be in that company, you know what I mean?
Yes.
If you work hard. But and I have an amazing family. I mean, you and my sister are best buds, and she's so supportive. I have a brother who's like been my best friend always, and also plays music, and we've been able
crazy talented
together. Yeah. Have like your big brother in your corner and doing that together. I still wish that we could be on the road together touring, and I'm sure that it's an interesting thing for him to kind of watch what I've gone and done. And he has a family and he has a career, and he still plays music and is successful at that. Starting that journey kind of together and then splitting off, has been interesting kind of.
Yeah, because you guys, it was Fox Jaws, right? That you guys started.
Yeah, he started, he and his colleague Dan Allen, and then I joined just because I like, I wanted to hang with my bro.
Yeah.
just kind of inserted myself into like these jams that my older guy friends were having. So that's kind of how it all began. And I'm super grateful that my brother and I could start together in that. And my parents, you know, not a lot of artists have parents who really get them, I think. And that's just because we've been taught like it's a hard life. It is a hard life, and it's not success, you know. And it's scary. I know that if I had children and they're like, I'm going to be a painter, I'd be like, oh, this kid's going to be poor and, you know, never have a home. Like all the fear starts coming in, you know. And they've never once ever said to me like, maybe you should try something else, or maybe you should go back to school. They just believe in me, and they're just there to support in whatever way they can. And I'm super lucky to have that in my life.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't have that. And there's so much talent in this world that doesn't even get a chance to see the light of day because of so many factors, because of lack of privilege. And like, there's just so many factors that can squash a creative soul, voices we don't get to hear because of that. And I just feel really, really privileged that I'm still here standing. I have a roof over my head, and I paid off my student loan.
Like, you gotta fucking celebrate that, honestly.
Very exciting moment for me.
It is. I know. Like, like all my friends that I didn't go to college. I didn't have the college or university experience, but I've lived it through everybody else. And I know what an accomplishment that is to have that paid off.
Finished my degree. I went on the road to tour and dropped out. Like, I didn't go back to college. It's funny because like we went to high school together, and I loved. I'm like, as you said, I have an intelligent side, an academic kind of. I have a love for that, and I loved school. Yeah, a lot of people don't love school and don't love that structure, and
I did not.
I really did, but and I was like valedictorian and whatever, and then I didn't go straight to college. I wanted to kind of go and work in the theater field for a bit. So I never had that experience either. And when I was 27, I was like, I know, I'll go to art school, which that's your backup plan. Okay. And I went for 1 year, and then my, a friend of mine, who's from our hometown, who's rising in success, asked me to go on tour with him, and the rest is history. And I would never change that course. But there's a lot of days where it's like, it would be really cool to have a degree to fall back on, you know? But again, just, it's like, no amount of money can pay for like the life experience of actually like being out there and doing it, you know? Totally. And degrees really don't fucking matter. Even in the workforce now,
they really don't.
Like, that doesn't guarantee you a job or a career anymore. And student debt is crushing the world. You know? And they just, like, in America, Biden still was like, no, we're not going to relieve the student debt. It's like, really?
I know.
AOC's just over there advocating for everyone, and it's like, and thank you for your work, but nobody cares, clearly. Like, so frustrating. Anyway, my point is, you can't buy world experience. You can't put a price on it.
What is it's the truth though. Like, I know, you know, like a similar, you know, like lifestyles you and I have had. And like, I moved to a freaking island, and I like traveling, and I've done, you know, my fair share of that. But same thing. I don't have kids. I'm single. Like, I have a bit more freedom to kind of explore those things. And I've never really fallen back and been like, should I go to school? Because I hate school so much. It's always like, okay, well, where can I apply what I have and make money? You know, like, how can I survive with the tools that I have, kind of thing. I hated school. I love the social aspect of it. I loved, you know, like the creative side, the creative subjects, but like, it just was not my thing. Like any type of confinement type of situation. It was the same with a desk job, you know, like I couldn't stand having rules in an office. Like, what does it matter if my shirt is tucked in or not? You know, like You know, like I've always had that spirit where I'm challenging the structure and challenging, you know, like the box of where they want us to be in kind of
and
thing.
It's so clear, like in your spirit. It's like, you don't belong in an office. Like, no.
Could you imagine?
Don't put that girl in the corner over there. You know, like nobody puts baby in that corner. No, but that you've embodied that spirit, you know, and that is manifested in your life, and the universe has supported that for you.
Totally.
You know,
yeah, totally.
But it's so easy to fall into what we've been taught is normal, you know, and is what we're supposed to do, and you're supposed to achieve this by this milestone or whatever. It's like, the people that have the courage to not follow that path, I think or single people, you know, that like at our age, that still like,
I know we are like aging ourselves, and we shouldn't be, because we're fucking young and fabulous, and what society wants us to think, that we're old maids, you know, like unmarried women and untouched, no chill. I shouldn't say untouched, but
definitely been touched, but well, because it's also biologically, it's like, well, your eggs are going to dry up.
Your clock's ticking.
Yeah. And so there is actually a shelf life to that, of course. But I never saw myself as a mom. And, you know, I tell my sister that, and she cries because she's like, but you have to have kids like me and be my sister with kids, you know? Yeah. And I feel bad that I may not give that to my sister. And I know that I would be an amazing mom, and I would, you know, kids freaking love me, but they also love me because I'm the cool Zia.
Exactly. Yeah.
But seriously, like turning 35, you just automatically, there's something that clicks that you're like, oh my God, am I not going to have children?
Oh my, yes.
I'm like, what is this feeling? Like, I've never wanted to have children.
100%. My answer was very clear for me. Like, I was like really dabbling on that line back and forth, you know, entering into the 30s, and then I don't know, 35, 36. Like, I was like, yeah, no, like if it happens, it happens. It's not my choice. If there's a starseed that chooses me to host it and birth it into the world, cool, I'll do that. But it's not my part of my plan, you know, so to speak. But I think it's hard trying to break out of that stereotype, I guess, for, you know, like what they expect of a woman, and just keep following your passion and having fun in life, you know, like in a different way, you know, not saying being a mother's not fun or anything, but like exploring your creative energies freely, I guess, you know?
Yeah, and birthing that stuff into the world. And also, like, in my industry, it's not set up to support women who want to have it all, who want to have a family and also be touring. And it's nearly impossible. It's really easy for men to be like, good thing I have a wife.
Right.
And my kids while I go tour the world, you know?
Right.
For a woman, it's like...
Shit, you must have... I never even thought of that, seeing that, and that really being a huge difference in the industry. Wow.
Difference. Like, it's... I know some women who've had the courage to, like, bring their children on the road, but, you know, when you're touring, it's unless you can have... I also have friends who are very fortunate and can have a family tour bus, you know?
Right.
Basically the only way that a woman could do that. Or you need to afford a childcare provider that is on the road with you, so you're paying for an extra personnel just to take care of your kid if you're going to do that. But it's really, and it's frustrating to kind of, I know countless men who have children, and it's like, well, good thing you have a partner at home who's taking care of your kid on the road. And it's I've also just kind of been told by my industry, like, if you want that, then you have to make that choice, and you will sacrifice this, you know. And it's that way in a lot of fields of work, I'm sure, for women. But so maybe that's just been a thing. Observing that, I've just been like, well, I can't have kids and also have my, so I choose my love of singing, you know. Anyway, interesting little dance.
I also kind of feel though, like, I don't know, for me personally, I've started to really explore the idea of that I've lived many lives and had many children in past lives, and I'll have many future lives, and you know, like maybe have kids and stuff in the future, but this life, this experience, this human experience in this body it is what it is right now, you know, and not trying to like focus on what's expected of us and what, you know, like the typical ladder to kind of climb as a woman and stuff like that. So trying to find,
we've indoctrinated to think we're supposed to do, you know, it's hard to like deprogram that out of our very being, you know, and but that fear creeps in where you're like, am I going to die alone? Like, who's going to take care of me when I'm old if I don't have children?
I always think,
and I'm like, why am I feeling this way? But it's literally like programmed into our brains.
Yes,
you know,
totally.
Like, okay, check yourself. Like, you won't die alone. But I'm like, why am I having these feelings as soon as I turn 35? It's funny.
Yeah, no, I've been the same too, but I know it also is because you and I both have so many people around us having babies and getting married and all that stuff. And it does kind of put literally everybody. So, or are about to, you know, so it does make you kind of question it. But I liked what you said about the cool auntie, because that's how I feel. And I really embrace that title, you know, like we may not be, you know, like have our own children, but we are still helping to raise all these other little humans and influence them in our own way, right? Because we have something special to share, to show them a different kind of way of living, you know, like as an inspiration for them and stuff. So musically, I'm curious, like who your inspirations are.
Again, like my friends, like my friend Tamara Lindemann her act is called The Weather Station. I'm not sure if you're familiar with that, but listen to her records.
Yeah.
She's like an artist who I've worked with over the years and just watched her blossom into this, like from a timid, you know, a performer who just played with her guitar, like a folk singer, into this fully realized artist. She's like David fucking Byrne, you know, like it's and that has just been like so awesome to watch. And like Rolling Stone, every one is like, it's the best record of the year. So just to like be able to watch my friends go through that journey into success and into like global recognition is so inspiring. Artists that people
like, I mean, like growing, because what really kind of, I mean, I know you've always been an artist and I know you've always been a performer and stuff, and like you and I, musical theater and everything in high school, but like because for me with singing, whenever I saw Whitney Houston, it was like, oh my God, like she made me stop in my tracks. You know what I mean? Like, and anytime I was wanting to be a singer, I was like, I want to sing like Whitney Houston. Like, you know, like she was like, and also like a lot of Motown influence and stuff like that too. But like, I feel like there's a few like artists when I really think back that really kind of inspired my musical journey in general, whether that was to become a singer or not, but really like inspired me and like,
I think Stevie Nicks was big for me. Joni Mitchell, even just like, it's so silly, but like Billy Joel. I know I'm like white guys and people, but like Billy Joel, my parents were obsessed with him and he was like a huge influence. Or like friggin' Meatloaf, like, you know, you don't even realize, you're like, oh, these like the Spice Girls, Alanis Morissette, like Alanis Morissette, no doubt. Oh, those records were coming out when we were girls, and they were so influential to us because it was like, here's this woman just like being messy and like.
Yes. I think for Alanis too, because she was Canadian, was like a huge thing, because that was like a huge breakthrough artist, you know, that came from Canada. I was like, oh my gosh, we can do it too, you know, like I listened to the shit out of that album, you know, Jagged Little Pill. So yeah. I know,
my sister-in-law was like, I remember when you and Catherine Selnick, my best friend, got that record, like we were in like third grade and we just sat and like
read the lyrics. Yes.
She's like, for hours you read the lyrics. I'm like, yeah, I was committing every word to memory. And like, but also that was like like a songwriter with a voice that was like writing about their life and about their messiness was like, so, you know, when you're surrounded by just like pop bullshit saying nothing, you know? So yeah, to have that was a huge turning point for me. And yeah, like Aretha, Diana Ross, like, you know, all those incredible Motown singers that were just like the foundation of fucking everything, you know? Yeah. But I'm lucky enough now to just like have real women in my life that are just like superstars that I'm just like, I want to be you and I know you and it's crazy and you're like a normal human, but you're also this like icon to me, you know?
Nice. I really hope that they like, is Lilith Fair still a thing? Like, are they still doing that tour? Yeah, because if not, they should bring it back.
You should, totally.
Because I totally see you being a part of that. You went to it?
Topless, baby. Yeah, it was like the first time I saw topless like lesbians walking around holding hands. I was like, whoa, this is a whole new world. Like at the amphitheater, my mom took me to this Lilith Fair topless girls. Like it was awesome. But yeah, that was like a huge. We came up in this generation of like Sarah McLachlan and like, you know, she was a huge influence to me too. Jan Arden, like all these Canadian singers. That me and my mom would just like we'd sing along to in the car and harmonize to, like that sing harmony, you know. Yeah. I could go on forever about all the influences that I can't name just one. I can't believe I threw Meatloaf out there, but
look at in my head for my family, like Kenny G, like my dad would always like the most right, the most
my biggest influence.
Because I know our family, like musically and stuff, like I know you, me, and Carleigh or Nikki, like our musical taste is really like broad. Every time I'm with Nikki, I'm like, how do you know every goddamn lyric to every song? Like, you know, like, but it's because of our parents. And like, we also did grow up with, you know, much music and when much music was for music, you know, and MTV was for music. And we were heavily influenced by the 90s and the 80s and stuff and all the sounds of everything. So it's cool though to see
at a radio station, right?
That's so right. Like, that's right.
And yeah, doing this like this Dwayne Gretzky stuff, which is just like the greatest songs of all time. We'll be like at a party or sitting around a fire and people are like, you know every single song ever. I'm like, yep. I also just have a brain like I'm lucky enough to have a brain that like
absorbs. Yeah, seriously.
You know, with music, it's just like that's just how my brain operates. Like I can hear a song once and be like, and repeat it back.
So crazy to me because I'm not like that. Like that's a huge part of my performance anxiety actually is like not like needing to have the lyrics there with me. And like in musical theater, I was always like, because I was your understudy, I'm like, she better show up to every single fucking show because like the pressure that was put on me to like
so much pressure
that and like
be like step in if we need
like, but I always was like, fuck, how is she? I could not. I was always in awe of you, like how you could just get on stage, remember everything, act and perform, and like, you know, just do the thing, you know, like
it takes a certain brain but even like going back to do these shows and stuff where you have to, they're like, oh, we're doing this song and this song tonight. And you're like, okay, let me go review the lyrics. Like it is a muscle that you have to keep exercising. Really out of practice. And getting up on stage, I'm just like, I don't think I know the words to this song. It always like comes, you know, once you start doing it. Yeah. There, you just trust that it's in there. Yeah. And start trying to practice. Like, don't bring your iPad up. Yeah. You know the words. Yeah. It's just this little like security blanket, you know? Yeah. Go up and try doing it. And if you forget the words, who the fuck cares? Like, you know? The music will still be going and you'll catch up again. Like most of the time people don't even notice. Like just do some scatting. Right.
It's so true.
It's scatting over that, and no one will know. No one will be the wiser.
Like you never forget your own, like your own lyrics are just always in
my
your
own
mind.
lyrics. Yeah, no, because they're like you wrote them. Well, that's not true. If you don't, like, I haven't performed these songs live, so it will take some practice to be like, what are the words?
Mm-hmm.
But
oh my God, I can't wait to see you do this live. Like, oh my God, it's gonna be so good.
I'm excited. I'm mostly excited to, like, I hope I'll be able to have multiple singers and just we did one little performance of like 5 of the songs at a little place called the Dakota, which is just like an underground tavern here in Toronto, you know, to like 80 of our closest friends, and everyone, that was fucking incredible. Like, not to toot my own horn, but like just the power of having like multiple singers.
Yes.
Harmonies together, and like it's really powerful, and that's why the human voice is like, it's the most kind of you know, like, what am I trying to say, like that's the first instrument that was ever used. It's a tribal deep thing, you know, within, beyond any other instrument, resonates with people in this like really magical deep harmony. Singing is just like
amplify.
It can connect with anybody. So I'm just so excited to like get it on its feet and start changing some lives with
No, it's awesome.
But just having that exchange, I'm so excited.
Do you have any favorite songs? Like, are there any like standout songs to you on the album? I say on the album like I physically have it in my hands. Like I still have that mentality.
I can send you a copy.
That's awesome.
In Canada, it's like there's such a delay to get like vinyl pressed and stuff. So it's coming.
Nice.
It's in the queue to be done. I think, well, there's a couple songs where like I really let some shit out, say some shit that I like would never say to the person who it's about. I wouldn't say it to their face. So it's fun to kind of do that. And I know they'll probably never even listen to it and realize it's about them, but it's like my little secret almost, like, which is what is great about music.
Totally. Like
person's name, and you can be like, all right, I really said what I needed to say there. So that's fun. Yeah. There's a song Pretty Tiger on this.
I was just singing that one. That's like one of my favorites.
I like that one.
Good.
I wrote that with my friend Laura Byrne in LA. We wrote it together. We wrote like a little sketch of it, and then I went home and kind of made it about like, you know, the analogy of like we as women, as like kept women who are like put in this cage or put in this box of how we're supposed to perform or how we're supposed to be. But it's like we have so much power as women. Yes. And it's often untapped because we're kept in these boxes where we don't get to really, and it's like all the while you could have escaped your cage, but you had the power to like get out of there. So I like that song. I like the message of that song.
Yeah, me too. I mean, they're all bangers. Like, honestly, like every single one, listening to them in order. Like I'm trying to get out of this random listening and like listen to how the artist has laid out the tracks on the album and stuff. So it's like, I know like my order of which ones I'm like, oh, it's on. Yeah. Like, you know, like my standout ones, but the like Pretty Tigers, like I literally, it makes me like, I can feel it, you know, like, and it's just such a great, like everything. It's just such an empowering album. And I think it's really going to impact a lot of people. And, you know, I really do think that a lot of people are going to resonate with it, the message. And
well, I really, really respect your opinion. So I really appreciate you sharing that with me.
Thank you. Yeah. I'm so, so grateful that you took the time to sit down with me. And so like,
fun. We've talked for like an hour and a half.
I know. Is it really? I wasn't paying attention. Shit.
I talked to you all day. You're like the brightest light on my Instagram feed every day. I'm just like, what's she doing? Okay.
Oh, thank you.
I love seeing you. Yeah. And I'm really proud of you and inspired by you. And you're just a fucking queen. And I thank you for having me, for talking to me and giving me this, sharing your platform with me. Thank you, babe. Miss you. On the island. I need an excuse to get the hell out of here. Come in.
Thank you so much, Carleigh. Thank you so much for listening, my darlings. I hope this episode filled your soul with all the feel-good vibes. I would love to connect deeper with you about this episode, so please feel free to find Connected in the Den on Instagram, YouTube, and Facebook, and we can chat more about our elevation journey together. If this episode did bring you all the feels, I would love so much if you shared it with your people. Leave me a review, add the podcast to your favorites, or subscribe to the channel, all the things to help us stay connected. And if you do post it on your platforms, please don't forget to tag us. I am so blessed and so grateful to have you here, and I'm sending you all the love and massive virtual hugs. We have a lot to explore, and I look forward to sharing our next chat here on Connected in the Den.